A little bit of a different scenery, but I think it's going to be a fun one. This video is going to be kind of important. So it's my birthday weekend. I'm here out in Joshua Tree, California. I've just rented out an Airbnb, and yeah, just going to have some fun with my family members. But nonetheless, it's been a pretty good day, and I think it's important that I talk about how I even got here in the first place. So just to give you guys some insight, we've got about 3K for today in Stripe, and we've got about 500 in a different payment processor from one of the Done For You clients. So it's a $3,500 day, not the worst. But honestly, yeah, like I said, it's important that I talk about how I even got here. And by the title of this video, it might be specifically geared towards you. It might not be, and that's completely okay. But I want to talk about one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had in order to get to where I'm at today, right? Where I'm consistently making 20, 30 grand a month. And it wasn't always like that. I didn't always think I was going to be capable of being able to do that. So just to give you guys some insight, when I grew up, when I was in high school, I grew up in this bubble of, Northeast Los Angeles, where people looked like me, right? It was people that were of, Hispanic background and whatnot. And I used to honestly be really insecure about where I came from, how I looked, how I spoke, because I never thought it would amount to being able to have relationships with people that, quote unquote, are supposed to make it. And now I know that's bullshit, right? But I always had issues with that. And man, as I continued to grow, as I continued to take one step forward, I started to realize that all of that was literally just implemented into my brain. It was just ingrained in it. And I don't know how. I don't know if it's through media, where people try to convince you that certain stereotypes are true and you're only going to be confined to this one small little box. But I finally found the breakthrough. And this is for, people who are watching that might have those same insecurities as well. Maybe it doesn't have to do with the way you look and the color of your skin, but maybe it has to do with the way maybe you present yourself, or maybe it has to do with your weights, whatever that might be, right? There's a lot of external factors that can get in our way, because I remember when I first got started in this space, I used to think that, man, is it worth trying to launch a business? Is it worth trying to do anything for that matter? Because people like me are not in this online space. They're not in the online, business space, in the industry. And for the longest time, I let it hold me back. I let it be the reason why, I purposely self-sabotaged over and over and over. Why I didn't prepare the way I needed to for certain interviews or conversations or networking connections that I was potentially making. I just purposely went out of my way to make sure I failed. And it was because of these thoughts that I had in my mind, that people actually cared about the way I looked and the way I sounded and the way I showed up, the clothes I wore, literally everything. And as I kept growing and getting better and taking one step forward in this industry, I started to realize, man, all of that really is just ingrained into your brain to try and psych you out and keep you stuck in this box. When in reality, man, people just don't care. And when I say people, I mean potential paying clients. I mean potential team members. I mean potential leaders. It doesn't matter, right? Just anybody who you would basically exchange some form of conversation with, they don't care. And that's why I'm making this video, is to try and snap you guys out of that mindset that you might have fallen under, unfortunately. And I want to make sure I specify, it's probably not your fault. You falling under that mindset is probably not your fault. You just grew up in this weird bubble that made you think a certain way. And it's your job to do everything in your power to literally prove the stereotypes wrong, right? To purposely take certain actions that are not in aligned with the traditional path and the stereotypical path. You know what I mean? It's just time and time again, I have proven myself otherwise of these bad thoughts that I've had, that people really think and they care about the way I look or sound. But it's man, people care about results. And if you can bring them results, I promise you, any single individual from all walks of life will give you an opportunity to actually show what you have to give, right? But it's all a matter of preparation. It's all a matter of making sure that you prepare the right way. It's all a matter of making sure that, you do the groundwork necessary to succeed in a tough position, right? Specifically, you guys know this channel is about appointment setting. There are some teams out here that do multiple six figures a month, and they have high expectations. But guess what? These individuals, the last thing they're looking at is the way you look, the way you sound, the way you present yourself. Well, they probably are looking at that, but they're more so focused on results. And that's the type of individual that they are. Is results drives everything. It drives money. It drives client results. It drives better team members, right? Better recruitment. It literally drives everything. So again, like I said, I just want to make this video for, my old self. when I was back in high school and I was so insecure about the way I looked and the way I sounded. Because had I known that this is how things would have turned out, it would have been much easier, right? And things aren't supposed to be easy, by the way. I don't want to like give you that misconception, but I just want to give you that clarity for those of you that are struggling with, potentially breaking past that limiting belief wall that's in front of you because of these things that, maybe you can control, right? For example, like I used to honestly be, super insecure about my height as well. I'm not the tallest person. I'm kind of short, honestly. And I used to think I wasn't short because I grew up in this bubble. Because people that look like me and whatnot, they're not necessarily super tall all the time. So guess what? I grew up around those people, and I thought I was, average height. And I'm not going to reveal the height, by the way. You guys are probably going to have to save that for when you see me in person, if you do. But yeah, super important message I just wanted to share, get off my chest. Again, I don't, like, now, the individual that I am, like, I laugh when people say that they have disadvantages because of the way they look or the way they sound. Just being fully transparent. Because if I can make happen what I've made happen so far, then so can you. And it doesn't matter if you come from the same background that I do, or you're from a completely different part of the world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of accent you have. You can work on stuff like that. You can purposely go out of your way to fix those things. So it really comes down to whether or not you're willing to look past the excuses that you've been giving yourself and just prove yourself otherwise, right? Make sure that you take matters into your own hands because you have everything at your disposal to be able to do so. So very quick video. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there, but let me know what you guys think. I mean, if you guys are struggling with something similar, feel free to drop it in the comments and let me know, because you never know, man. Like I said, the reason I'm even making this video is because I've been getting multiple Instagram messages, people following me from like different ads I'm running, and they're kind of asking like, how did you do it, man? Like you look just like me. Please help an amigo out. I swear they've been saying that, like word for word. They use that word amigo. I'm not sure how to feel about that, but I just wanted to share that message, and hopefully it actually resonates and breaks down another wall of limiting beliefs that you might potentially have right now. So just wanted to leave you with that, and that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one.